Let's talk about gambling. Gambling can be a lot of fun, but it can be incredibly dangerous. I've quite literally seen someone I know ruin their life from gambling. They made a lot of money on sports betting, and I'm talking six figures on one bet, and it ended up ruining his entire family. He's no longer married, not sure how often he gets to see his kids, lost his home, had to sell it. It's crazy how someone can go from making over $100,000, over six figures on one single bet, to losing their home and losing their family. Gambling is dangerous. Now, that's not to say you have to refrain from gambling entirely, right? I know gambling is not a financially smart move, but we're all human. And every once in a while, I like to go to the casino and play a little blackjack. I used to enjoy sports betting a little bit, but I kind of sucked at it. So I just stopped because I didn't want to lose any more money. But I will say, even betting on sports makes things a little more interesting. When there's money on the line, it becomes more intense, it's more fun, and it's just enjoyable to be a part of. Whenever there's money on the table, it's fun. Even little games where you're betting dollars, it's just fun. When there's money to be made, it's fun. So I want to talk about some gambling that I did recently, and it has to do with the Super Bowl. If you're not familiar with what Super Bowl boxes are, basically you can purchase boxes on a grid. There's normally 100 boxes on the grid, and you randomly select boxes that you want, and you pay a certain amount for each box. And then once the grid is full, numbers are randomly selected, and basically the end score of the game will pay out to someone who has those numbers. I'm not going to get too deep into the logistics of how Super Bowl boxes works. It's not really the point of the video, but I just wanted to bring it up because every year for the Super Bowl, I buy some boxes. It's fun. I throw a little money towards it. It makes the Super Bowl more interesting, especially if your team is not in it. And I've been doing the same boxes for 5 or 6 years with the same group of people. And I'm pretty good as far as getting lucky. It's all luck, but every year I usually break even. And this year I did a little bit better. So the way my Super Bowl boxes works is every single score change pays out. So every time someone scores a touchdown, kicks an extra point, kicks a field goal, the person who has those numbers, they get paid out. And then the person at the end of the game with the correct numbers, they get what's ever left. So the boxes that I played was $50 a box. There's 100 boxes, so there was $5,000. And there was a number of score changes throughout the Super Bowl. I think there was about $1,200 worth of score changes because every score change pays out $150. So the final score paid out the remaining 3,200. I think 1,800 was paid out, so there was 3,200 left. And my lucky ass had the final numbers. Do you believe this? I had the final numbers. This is actually the second time that I hit the final pot in this Super Bowl pool. I think I hit it in 2022 and then again this year. And it feels amazing. Like, I was watching the game. It was a really boring game. And right at the end, I'm always watching the boxes and trying to figure out if I have a chance to win. And at the end of the game, I'm watching it with my girl, and I say, here's the deal. If they score a touchdown and don't convert the 2-point conversion, so if the Patriots score and don't convert the 2-point conversion, we're going to hit, and then those numbers, if they stay till the end of the game, we're going to win. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. I'll tell you what, man, I was up watching the whole game because of this. I wanted to see, if I was going to win the final pot. And it just felt amazing, bro. Like it just felt so good when those numbers came up and then they were down to like 2 minutes. And then it was down to like 1 minute, down to 30 seconds. And when that clock ran out and my numbers were on there, bro, I was lit. I was like, let's fucking go. So, some transparency. I do the same thing with these boxes every year. I buy 2 boxes, $50 a box. So I buy $100 worth of boxes. My parents buy $100 worth of boxes. And then a friend of ours buys $100 worth of boxes. So we actually get 6 boxes, but we each put $100 in. So the payout is split 3 ways. So the payout was $3,200. We're going to tip the person who ran the boxes $200. They're a good friend of mine. They've always taken care of me when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I want to reciprocate and do the same thing, of course. So at the end of the day, we're splitting $3,000. We each take $1,000 home and we each put $100 into it. So $900 profit. Now, obviously, as I mentioned before, gambling can be rather dangerous. And most of the time, you're going to end up losing your money if you gamble. But for some reason, I have really good luck. Knock on wood, I have really good luck with these Super Bowl boxes. And every year, I at least break even. I don't think I've lost money once in the past like 5 or 6 years that I've been doing it. So that was just a really nice boost in energy and just sort of a helping hand, I guess you could say, when it comes to my personal finances. By no means am I struggling or anything like that. I just made a video about how my income has gone up and my expenses have gone down and I'm able to save and invest more. But this just helps, right? Like who wouldn't take an extra $900? You know what I mean? Now, the reason I want to make this video is because things like this are okay in moderation, right? I can afford to lose $100. Do I want to? Of course not. But let's say my numbers didn't hit, I didn't make any money back whatsoever, and I lost my $100. Yeah, it would have sucked, but I would have went on with my life, and that would have been that. I only gambled what I was willing to lose. You never want to bet the house. You don't want to bet something that you can't afford to lose. So if you're tight on money, if you have debt, if you're drowning in bills, I would not recommend gambling. And if you're not into gambling, I wouldn't recommend starting to gamble either. But what I'm trying to say is, things like this, specifically gambling, are okay if it's done in moderation. But when you start to get too aggressive with it and bet money that you're not able to afford to lose, or if you lose money on a bet and then you double down to try and win that money back, or if you're going to the ATM, if you're at the casino, that's when it becomes an issue. So I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about, what my thoughts are on gambling. Because at the end of the day, I do enjoy it. It's fun putting money on the Super Bowl. Every once in a while, I like to go to the casino and play a little blackjack. It's just fun. I enjoy it. So that's my thoughts on gambling. It's okay in moderation. I wouldn't recommend starting if you're not into it. But again, just control yourself. Have a plan. At the end of the day, all this stuff that I talk about, I feel like I'm really big on promoting the idea of having a plan. So even when it comes to gambling and being a degenerate, have a plan. Walk into the casino with a certain amount of money, and if you lose it, walk out. Bet a little bit of money on the Super Bowl or a big sports event, the World Series, the World Cup, if you really want to. But if you lose it, don't double down and try and win that money back. Have a plan, and it's okay in moderation. That's it. That's all I got for you guys today. A little bit of a different video. I don't think I've ever spoken about gambling on this channel, so I just wanted to kind of talk about that and, let you guys know what I thought about it. It might come as a surprise. Someone who's super into personal finance and saving and investing, could be surprising that I do like to gamble every once in a while. But like I said, it's fun. At the end of the day, somewhere deep down in me, there's a little bit of degeneracy, so I like to embrace that every once in a while. But I appreciate you guys checking in as always. If you're new here, I post every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern time, I post all kinds of content about personal finance, life experiences, really just anything I feel like talking about. I like to throw it over some gameplay for you guys. So if you like this kind of content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.